You never get bored of a boring watch. Henry Black from Fratello couldn't have said it better. While a significant portion of watch enthusiasts wouldn't come close to a Tudor or Rolex because of their lacking ability to cause a spine-tingling sensation when wearing them, something about them being too boring, these two particular watches don't quite fall in that category. I think these two GMT watches aren't just a fascinating case study of great designs, but arguably two of the best watches the brands have to offer. Tudor and Rolex have come a long way from where they started. We know how the story goes. Hans Wilsdorf and his brother-in-law started Rolex in 1906 with the goal of producing quality watches that could cater to both professionals and casual users alike. 20 years later, the company established a sub-brand called Tudor, this time offering more modestly priced watches than the premium ones from its big brother. Together, these two brands under the same umbrella covered all the bases, providing relatively high-quality timepieces to coal miners, divers, and military personnel, quickly gaining a reputation of well-built and robust tool watches. The first Rolex GMT Master came out in 1955 in partnership with Pan Am Airlines, designed for pilots as per their requirements to track time in multiple time zones. This wasn't the first GMT watch, but definitely one that would define the genre in the coming years. The watch became so popular that even astronauts started relying on them during the Apollo 13 and 14 missions, adding to the brand's reliability and prestige. On the other hand, Tudor's heritage is stronger with their dive watches, with the brand debuting their first modern GMT watch in 2018 within the Black Bay line. This Black Bay GMT with the Pepsi bezel was a clear tribute to Rolex's GMT Master II, but it lacked finesse, especially in the case proportions department. A problem that continued even with the slightly more compact Black Bay Pro. Last year, however, Tudor finally listened to the cries of the Tudor community and gave us a slimmer GMT in the brand's most popular design format, the Black Bay 58. But this time, displaying arguably the second most iconic Rolex bezel, Coke, with a black and red bicolored aluminum bezel insert. And this release proved a point that many had been speculating for some time now. Tudor is largely an enthusiast brand, and this was evident more than ever with this release. Tudor gave the people exactly what they wanted in the format, the proportions, and the design configuration that they wanted. Besides the popular 39mm diameter and the slimmest case thickness we've seen in the GMT watch from the brand, we now also got 200 meters of water resistance and a brand new Meta-certified Traveler's GMT caliber. What made this watch even more appealing was the retail price. In fact, even now, if you search for the best Traveler's GMT watch lists, this Tudor is bound to be in the top 5 just because there isn't enough competition. Yes, we have a comparable Spirit Zulu time in 39 from Longines, but the Calibre L844.4, while better than most, isn't quite up there with Tudor's Meta-certified movements in terms of its robustness. One thing I love about the 126710 BLRO, the stories that are tied to it, about how people dreamed of owning it and had to save up for quite a while to get it. There's a bit of a personal, everyday man's desirability aspect tied to it. I look at it and go, you are the dream watch of so many people. Comparing Tudor's aluminum bezel insert to the ceramic or Cerachrom bezel of the GMT Master II is like comparing between a Hazelite and sapphire. You still have watches that cost 10 times more featuring a Hazelite glass over the dial than one with a sapphire, because for watch brands, the choice of material is not always based on cost-cutting measures, but heavily based on the design outcome, the design intention that they want to achieve. Different crystals give the dial different looks in different situations. Same thing with aluminum versus ceramic. That's why the latest Seamaster 300s from Omega are now featuring aluminum instead of ceramic for their bezel inserts. The Rolex brand is far more luxurious than it has been. You'll find the iconic Datejust motif plastered over the facades of the fanciest malls in the world, including some that you'll find here in Kuala Lumpur. I would argue that Patek and Audemars Piguet are far higher up in status when it comes to fine watchmaking, but somehow Rolex finds itself being in conversation with those two, even though these are mass-produced luxury watches. the brand is bigger than the product. With Tudor, we talk about the manufacture calibers, the T-fit clasp, the build quality, the incredible overall design of the watch, before mentioning that this is the more affordable sister brand of Rolex. And come to think of it, without the technical and design revamps, Tudor had been dead in the water for decades. But this underdog air around Tudor is also the reason why the Tudor community can get so defensive and passionate about the brand. The most watches I saw writers and watch journalists wear during Watch and Wonders was Tudor. And that gave me a sense of belonging, a sense of camaraderie that I never imagined a piece of mechanical time-telling device could give. Personally, I'm not sure which one I would go for. I love both of these watches, and that's why it's so hard for me to compare just the specifications, because in that department obviously Rolex wins, but there's so much more to it when it comes to these two watches. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to check out Swiss Connection Watches website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.